on science. And it is a small class, about 10 people. And yeah, do you want to say something?
Yeah, we kind of take two subjects that are completely different and then we combine them together and see what we can make with it.
So are you guys all familiar with poetry?
Yes.
So we look at a lot of poetry that is science-based, and a lot of people don't realize that the arts and the sciences, they seem like they're so separate because one maybe is English and a lot of writing, and science is a lot of research and doing cool experiments with chemistry and with animals, and we never really see how they interact and they come together. But our course is all on looking at poetry where you actually talk about science in the poems, and it gives you a better understanding not only of how a poem works and how poetry works, but also gives you a better understanding of how science works and how you can see the poetic side, which is like more the artistic and the beautiful side of science in poems and in nature. Okay. So here's another poem relating to water conservation. You want to do it?
Yeah, and so for this one we're just kind of relating science to it, and so this kind of it's kind of how like we do this in our class. So we're kind of bringing it to you guys now. The leaky tap drips day and night. Just fix it right and shut it tight. It seems the earth with water abounds, but thinks it's every drop that really counts. The tap is on you, brush your teeth. The water flows, you stop your feet. Just think of all the water lost. To close the tap, what does it cost? The water bottle you take to school, the water in it is nice and cool. You drink a bit, the rest you throw, the water could help a plant grow. So what did you guys feel about this poem?
So it rhymed a lot?
Yeah. Good. And there's also like a lot of connections that like, I don't know, I find when I like poetry that when there's a personal connection to me, I find that I like it more like bringing a water bottle to school. How many of you guys bring a water bottle to school?
So this one is more of an awareness poem, because not only is it telling you to be aware of the issue of water conservation, but it's also kind of making you think like, doesn't this poem make you think maybe I should think twice before I waste too much water when I brush my teeth, right? Yeah.
So there's another poem that we're gonna just...
There are not enough mouths to utter all your fleeting names, O water. I would have to name you in all tongues, pronouncing all the vowels at once, while also keeping silent for the sake of the lake that waits to be named, and doesn't exist on this earth just as the star reflected in it is not in heaven. Somebody drowned, someone died, was crying out for you. It was long ago, and it was yesterday. You have saved houses from fire, you have carried off houses as you did trees, forests, and cities. You've been in christening fonts and courtesan baths, in kisses and coffins, gnawing stone, nourishing rainbows, in the sweat and dew of the pyramids. How light in all this is the raindrop, how gently the world touches me. Whatever, whenever, wherever has happened is written down on the waters of Babel. Does anyone know what the Tower of Babel is? Do you have any idea?
Not sure.
Okay, great. So the Tower of Babel is a story in the Bible that when the Catholic God was looking at, it was at the very beginning of humanity, and they started building cities. And he found that a lot of the people were getting very proud of themselves because here they were building this ginormous Tower of Babel, and they said, oh, this is going to bring us up to God in heaven, and we'll be as great as God. But what God did was he made all those people that were working on the tower speak different languages, so no one could communicate. So all the people that spoke the same language would move to a different part of the country. So that's the biblical story for how we have different countries of the world speaking different languages. So it ends with Babel, so that's a reference to that story. So if you know that that's about language, and you look closer to the poem, you can also see that it uses words to describe water like tongues, babble, silent, vowels. So it's talking about water's language and how it's universal because it is in all different countries where they speak different languages.
And it's also really neat how that kind of relates to poetry, because even if like you don't completely understand the words that are being said or what's trying to be said as well, you just get a feeling towards the word, and it's just like just the way that the words flowed. Did you guys find this one better than the other one that didn't rhyme? Yeah?
Does it sound more like kind of poetic, more like a poet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So out of the two, which one was your favorite? The one about both awareness poems about water.
Did you like this one or the last one?
This one.
This one? Great. That's awesome. Okay, so yes, we have a video. That is enough.
Recycling wells will help a lot. We can stop drilling oil in the earth won't rot. Throw in the bin and put on a grid. Recycling is a much better choice. Take a stand and use your voice. Together we can. Towards a bottle ban. Together we can make the world more clean. If we all start thinking green. If we build a future for our kids, will be a sea. Bottled water we throw away. We can get hydration from the tap all day. It's cleaner you go. It helps your bank account grow. Tap water is just about free. It's better for the earth and sea. Now you know the facts, so now it's time to act. Now you know the facts, so now it's time to act.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about that? Yes, great. I wish you did that.
So how do you guys think that kind of relates to poetry and science as a whole?
Did you find that the issues that was talked about in that video? Yes. Okay, great.
Some of them related to eco-friendly things and stop doing that. And also it was mixed in with poetry as well. I noticed some of the words rhymed.
Yes, absolutely. So even a song could be a form of poetry, right? Great. So that was one way of showing how awareness about issues like water conservation and water bottle pollution can be put into a song, which is a lyrical poem.
Okay, so now we're just going to talk about a little initiative at 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically we have a central student association. So do you guys have a student council at your school?
Yeah.
Right, so you probably have like grade representatives and stuff like that? Or do you have like a president? Not sure?
No, we don't have a student council, we have the Waverly Worms, which is an eco group, and that
Okay.
has class reps and people, so it's kind of like that.
Great, so we have the equivalent of Waverly Worms at our school. So this is the University of Guelph. This is one of the residences. So what we voted on, so we were voting for who we want to be the president of the university, who wants to be representatives. And then at the bottom of the voting that we were all doing, it said, do you vote to ban plastic water bottles being sold on the campus? So I didn't know how this would go over actually, but Guelph is a very green school, like your elementary school is. Actually, the whole Guelph region is very eco-friendly. So we actually voted, 70% of people, so out of 100, it's like 70 people, all voted to ban water bottles. So now our school is banning the sale of them, so you can't get them in vending machines or anything like that. And now they're putting in water fountains, so we can take water bottles or canteens like that one, and we can just fill it up, and it's actually really great. So this is an initiative to make the world sustainable. So you guys were just talking about sustainability. Does anyone have a definition or want to talk about being sustainable? Okay, perfect. Yes.
You need to make something last longer.
Yes. Great answer.
For sustainability, I think it could be like a thriving civilization that's able to sustain its mass and keep it from running it down.
Yes. Fantastic. So here are some photos of the Guelph Water Initiative.
express feelings, opinions, and raise awareness. And so like one of the most important things about poetry is that it can raise awareness to a greater extent than words can. Because it's just like you feel something more than when someone's just simply saying it. And so that's why we showed you the songs and all the different poems to bring this class to you.
Okay, so this is terrifying.
Okay, so the price of a water bottle is 10,000 times tap water.
40%, which is almost half of bottled water, is tap water. That's
Tap water is tested for some yucky bacteria and things that can make you sick. That bottle water isn't.
so tap water, because they know that it's going into our bath water and our drinking water. This child is drinking tap water. They test it for a lot more different things. Like, have you ever heard of E. coli?
Yes,
Right.
I heard that.
So that is a terrible bacteria that can make you very ill. And they don't test bottled water because they don't actually have. You're not required to say where the source of bottled water comes from. It takes 3 times the amount of water to make a water bottle than it does to actually fill the water bottle.